It's time for the Leadership Lunch Break with Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy. Let's tune in for today's discussion.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Leadership Lunch Break. I'm Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy, and I thank you so much for joining me once again as we navigate through leadership principles and talk about things that affect leaders. Now, I want to remind you that the Leadership Lunch Break is not for people who may have a title of leader, but it's anyone who has influence or responsibility. And disclaimer, it's not lunchtime for me. Okay, let's get that out in the open. It's dark out here, but I want to be honest with you. And the reason I'm doing this in different locations, because if you listen to me and you follow me, you know that I've said the Leadership Lunch Break will be done in the kitchen. The truth of the matter is my kitchen has a lot going on. And while I'm talking about the Leadership Lunch Break and talking about what we're going to talk about, I'm going to find different places throughout my house and throughout my neighborhood just to encourage you and to motivate you. And you see I got a plate. We'll talk about that very soon. But last week we talked about an article that I've started writing called The 5 R's to Repair the Weary. And just if this is your first time, I invite you to go back and look at that article. The purpose of the 5 R's is because we all find ourselves in a situation where we're weary, where we're tired, where we're trying to figure out and navigate so many challenges in our life. And so because we find ourselves in that situation as a leader, as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, any of those things, I wanted to spend more time talking about that. So nice, we had to do it twice. So this time, the Leadership Lunch Break, we're going to talk about the second R to repair the weary, and that's reflect. That's a hard thing to do. Like many of us like the mirror. Remember mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, and the mirror talk back to him. I think as we've gotten older, we've gotten away from wanting the mirror to talk back. We're cool with asking the questions, but we don't want the answers. And so what I challenge you to do is to reflect. Here's the thing. If you're weary, how did you get there? That's what I mean by reflection. I'm encouraging you to think about how you got to the point of depletion. Because remember, weariness is truly about being depleted. It's like the inside, your soul, being at a point where you have nothing left to give. How did you get there? Because I challenge you, you didn't get there just in an instant. There were little things that chipped away at you every single day, every single minute, every single hour, every single week that caused you to get to the point where you are. Think about when you're driving in your car. You're driving in your car, it starts out full. And if you don't invest and put more into your car, it begins to go down. And before you know it, your car is on empty. That's just like us, right? So because of that, I challenge you, when you're in this phase, reflect. Ask yourself, how did I get here? Now, this is not the time to fix it. This is just a time to sit within yourself and know the truth about how you got where you were. And so I can argue that many of us have gotten here for a number of reasons. One of them is this right here, the plate. Many of us are good at spinning plates. Right, now I'm not gonna do this because it's glass, I don't have anything, but many of us are really good at keeping the plates in the air. Now, I'll be honest, you may be better at it than I am, because I got a mother plate spinning, I got a wife plate spinning, got a Speaking of Joy plate spinning, I've got a friend plate spinning, I've got a sit out here and record plate spinning, I've got a salmon in the oven spinning, I've got all of those plates spinning. And I'm gonna ask you, if you're spinning all of those plates, how good are you at spinning them? And have you dropped any? Because I guarantee you, the reason that you're weary is because you've had so many plates in the air that now they're starting to fall and starting to crash. So I challenge you to stop spinning so many plates. Reflect. What are some things that I've committed to that I can truly say, you know what, that doesn't work for me in this season? You know what? I know I said I could do that, but the truth of the matter is that's not something that I can really give my best to. Because if I'm gonna be a plate spinner, I'm gonna be the best plate spinner I can be. But when I realize that they start to wobble a little bit, I recognize that I may be in over my head. You may be at your breaking point, because the truth is, when you reflect, you can see that this was a tipping point. We all say, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So there was a moment in time that caused you to get to the point of weariness. And in reflection, you identify what that is. And it's okay to say that that's what it is. It's okay to pinpoint that. When you go to the doctor, one of the things that they challenge you to do is to say where it hurts. Where it hurts. When did it start? How long have you been feeling that? On a scale of 1 to 10, rate it. So I challenge you to do the same thing. figure out how you got to that point. And let me tell you, we're not superheroes. We try to be. We try to be. We try to be everything for everybody, but we are not superheroes. We can't do it all. And so because we can't do it all, it's okay. It's okay to reflect and say, what are the things that I'm really good at? What are the things that I'm not so good at? And prioritize those things in a way that you feel very comfortable. Because when you reflect, the purpose of the reflection is to see what's looking back at you so that you can see. Because here's the truth. Right now, I think I may look really good to you. If I raise my head up, you can see the light in my glasses, right? So the reflection helps me understand that in a way so that I know what I'm projecting to the world. So I ask you, what are you projecting? As a leader, what are you giving back to the world? What are you showing? And are you happy with that? If not, here's the opportunity to do something different. Here's the opportunity to change. So I invite you to think about what it is you're contributing and putting out, and how can you make it different. The last thing I want to share with you is many of us are weary, and in a state of reflection, we identify that we've been putting on a show. We've done a good job. We've done a good job. People think we have it all together. People think everything looks good. People love our home, love what we have to offer, love how we live, love our leadership style, love all of those things. But in the quiet moments, we're tired. We're exhausted because we have been so good at showing people who we are and spinning these plates that people think that that's the real us. When the truth of the matter is, I'm just a person sitting outside my house while cars are passing, doing a video. So we get to a point where when we reflect, we identify who we are. So this week, as you watch this, begin to reflect. And as you reflect, start to write down those things. What are the things that I challenged myself to do? What are the things that I did really well? What are the things that I didn't do really well? And how can I be better? I challenge you and I encourage you to do that. If you want more information about the 5 R's to repair the weary, I invite you to go to www.speakingofjoy.com so we can continue the conversation. You will find articles there. You will find this and many other articles, as well as I invite you to follow me on all social media platforms. And I encourage you to like this, to share it, and to comment. I want to walk with you through this journey. I'm in reflection. I want you to be there and join me. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining the Leadership Lunch Break. Join us next Thursday at noon Central Standard Time for lunch as we continue our discussions. Follow Speaking of Joy on all social media platforms or visit our website at www.speakingofjoy.com. That's www.speakingofjoye.com. Until next week.